in a single year.
Before you come,
excuse me. Why are you talking? You spoke like
that. Doc, I'll give you. Doc, please. Dr. Domfe.
I mean, you should stop lying to the public.
Oh, please, I will give you a chance.
You should stop lying to the public.
Right, I will like video share more before for now on also any be into me and the exit of Ghana from the IMF program no akofa discussions be about any asem ketua. Some economists if he say a premature is say this is not the first time Ghana IMF program are able say now so be wiase no na yeda form Cudjoe a yesanso esu e de frɛ wo mu na eno na Dr. George Domfe ebie nsɛm so pa any asem ketua na discussions are akoso no na a heated papa between Dr. George Domfe ono ye economist and afi Dr. Franklin Cudjoe enya asem kitu akwa na mepesi ye beji brem na yakutie discussions na bi yenso ya dwenkyere efa nsem a ekoso ono ho no yetumi e dia to comment section
the kunkufo the Ghana to GDP ratio about 32 the year 2008 because of fake ye bichiche no everybody we see time era John Dramani Mahabeji in 2018 grew 2014 now debt to GDP ratio 71%. And so 2014 we were in debt crisis. 2010 it went up to 72.8%. We were in debt crisis the year 15. 20 it went up further to 73.1%. Even though we were under a program, then extended time of Chassis, it was well than $18. The Chassis April 2015. And so Chassis 20 query in negative primary balance. 2015 query and the economy grew 1 grew 2.1%, one of the lowest. The lowest growth is 1983. About the year 2020, the lowest since 1993. Meaning, to you see, you were under an IMF, and then so that now can be to GDP ratio right up to 71. Balance the 2 years that we were under IMF under President Mahama's administration. All those indicators were in danger. But the new government we started running primary balance surplus for 3 consecutive years. Ghana yaba movie that 3 consecutive years. What recorded primary surplus? Young, now I am and now yes, a program 2050. Young chance panicking. And it was delayed. It was a 2018 April and a program end. So almost key extensions for 1 year. 2019 and a program ended. Obi Obaka me said 2019 economy bad piano. Of course, Ghana economy in the year that since 1957 this on records. Before we have always in crap your more brebia and no me putting it into context. I don't fire macroeconomic indicators here. You move a ditch be 2019 happened to be one of the best if you want to talk about economy. Now, indicators need now be positive. Debt to GDP ratio, I mean, Canada among frontiers, they say 2018, you're rebasing, and we move away from 6 constant prices to 13 constant prices. The moment you move up to a new 10-year prices, the GDP becomes big. Became 4.2% bigger, and so because of that. You are debt to GDP ratio, but debt to GDP ratio is the total, your total debt divided by GDP times 100. The base becomes bigger. The debt to GDP ratio now smaller. And that was why sometimes when you were speaking, people quote and say that 2016 debt to GDP ratio 73.1, but it was I think 55.9, around 55, thereabout. And I tell them that in 2006 constant prices, 2016. And says constant prices. And now, year and then the man is 73.1. Safi Ghana, your rating, your credit rating, then you first standard and poor, then you be managed with negative outlook. That is, I come one step away. ni eko si ni eko junk state. So what I say, and that was April 2015. You 2 million, 2 million, 10 tema. You call, I mean, IMF near who progress via at the beginning, but at the end, let me say there was a good result. Let me come back to Hero Franklin Cudjoe. Make or Kasa yeah, on Kadi winning. Because you say no one is a repository of so piano we are here. Sabe, Ononkwan and Yakuponde and Nina Aman. Him, I would have talked about my opinion and you're wrong to express your opinion. I would actually say, would be a one why be asked in previous and that's the way Tibo also and as if you have a new man or I have a serious problem with that statement. That's it. I have a serious
Oh, but I think also Okasa, you know, was in a jovial way. Let me say, it's something that.
Masa, and you couldn't cast as a woman Casama Barney. As a question in be said, Lema will be a no cancer, and let me between that he was wrong. That was 2021. One tears you need the call of an island. One tears and go on 2021. Then I say Yako, and I say Yako. I came to talk about 2021. Yanko, I mean, island. Oh, Babaka, and the year 2020 was a very bad year for Ghana. Yeah, budget. Yeah, cancer expenditure say now about the mimic. Obey rake in this amount of total revenue. I think the expenditure 55 or so billion. And then the total was supposed to be 66 billion. And that would have translated into 10% of fiscal deficit. Let me also go back, Mr. Emmanuel Amwako, if I get it. 2019, the fiscal deficit was 4.8% deficit. And they measure the difference was expenditure and revenue as a proportion to GDP. Now, 2018, that abandoned no person or share expenditure. South fiscal side the so I am one. Now banda down person wanting or copala them be a fair fiscal responsibility act. Yes, I act a better say you want to for those who be obey the chill. In new class yes expenditure over revenue difference, you know, as proportion to a borrow 5%. There's a fiscal deficit once a man worker. 2019 we worked within the remits of we had 4.8 but the 20 million I may catch or say Ghana baby back one your 10 years seek free pa post say income duties amount for akofan any from and no maba no mo betonya omode ba Ghana omode do porter omutua no eno na eboa ma chambi aba na yeska 20 million na bi nko bi ma enti na Ghana you will cool baby near Juma cool baby, no more depending on the external markets. Now, you will be cool. If you are dean, Emma, Ghana, your revenue, then you cry. You are government borrowed. May Diana, Sabana, rebel boy, and Opus or Kawas Maminiasa, and we or Utimasa. Chabana Bobos Yapantuni, your debt to GDP rate. Maminka said 2018, you rebel. Now, a move so far new series now move from 55 to 62.5 2019. Like 2019 and 62.5. You read 2020 62.5 billion. Ukofa West Africa convergence criteria now. Or you in debt Christ. So what I say. Unfortunately, 2020 we spent so 80 projected expenditure of 85. Yeah, CD 104 billion. Revenue IMF 66, we had 55 billion. The joining gap of 49 billion that the government had to. And on the day, an IMF FY 1 billion US dollars. So I can put the back is coming at 5.5 billion. You can have $1 about 5 cities, 50 pesos. Now, and some of the workers of Kabuma that a door from Paya. Okay. Your debt to GDP ratio could do 76.1%. Okay. Let us say we were plunged into debt crisis. Now, about debt crisis in one call. Rolling Seco, Ubianco, Minister of Finance, no Rolling Zico Jayeka in nominal terms, Jayeka 7.1 billion US dollars. At the compare, or the can could do 8 billion, less than 1 billion. Picking a coin, don't be kind of BBH. The debt accumulation, people still know that borrowing is in my debt accumulation. Debt accumulation once I'm not making. President, what was the name? Kufo, at the less than 1 billion, and the Kaga total debt accumulation was less than 1 billion. President Mahama, name Nayaka, in terms of dollar, 8 billion, I could do 29.2 billion US dollars. The new government came, I cannot borrow. So you that, I mean, at a point, now about 33% internal resources. Anyone with that clear, but let me clear respond to Franklin Cudjoe. Says 2021. 2021.
Sir, don't fair. Please, could it be possible for you to stay in the question I'm asking on and where you are, rather than say, I say, Okasa respond. I say,
no. Please inform me, guy. You misinform, guy.
No. Please. Doc, please.
Program, I political.
Oh, please, Doc.
We are
Doc, good to me.
Would you allow me to?
Doc, sir, my alarm Wakasa, but me person say, I don't want to address me and the viewers. You understand? So don't address Obi Ono Wakasa. That is only view. No. That's what I want you guys to do, please. Please, I beg.
Now, the view, no. The view, that is very fair. But the view, no. What can say be just Obi Ono say, sir, current progress na yenyam. Say, yet the best. Now, I'm the person said in Papua also. I was expecting you to ask him to withdraw because you didn't. And then for kind, he wasn't bringing anything on the floor. It was just propaganda, man. As a Doc, please, Doc, please. A lot of people are watching us. Honestly speaking, the Joe Pono, the Kesben is among 3 most watched to if I say television in this country. Please, baby, even Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, a lot of people are watching us. We are also on live on DSTV and GoTV. Please, say oka asembisi noa, same producer ana yebu bi ne reverse kakra. Please, let us not go there. I want you to address the issue. Let you move on. Let's let no, please. Then to me, you are not anybody who is to speak. On one day, that was it. Oh,
Debbie,
you are supposed to ask him to.
Doc, respectfully. I said that he said it in a jovial way. Two crowns say he described a certain government as a KK whatever. It was a jovial way.
You didn't listen to him. All Kassan, what can with this established authority? You can go back and play your this. What can you play? Said, what said when Abano record time, some record time are okay. Out of any record time, 36 years. And this record time, yet the two was said, a yafibo, na uduru, a DBC in the deal, this will be one with you. And yes, I need what I said, the fastest, then the record time, all those are very empty things. You know, but let me quickly tell you this. IMF no, Sanya mana ye the year IMF in Hawane. Don't say, my drink will move na come because finance. I was working with them, and then you put together all the quantitative criteria, and criteria now of the year to man. Yenna ye kambo muni di ma the dam of the catch in your city. The PCP, COVID, economic, for and PCP. And yes, that was what they adopted, approved, and implemented. Now, I'm sure what they implemented is a program October 2023. May I was at IMF World Bank annual meeting. Now, you hope. And If we are seeing countries are efforts are that 2022-2023 never in the history of the world say I'm to do to America to akọ so ABC and you man okay right Cote d'Ivoire okay IMF on the program two different programs Togo I'm a now yeah and me say maame ni gina o kan say program na e sha ase no Ghana e sha ase sa na e beka October no say ye niema na ya no best among all the countries na omako program no omo program it we that day o kan sa ase omo Ghana bia every day proceed bia omo publish Ghana was on the I mean kind of reactor was on the front page I mean of the journal I mean that particular day. So what I say now that quantitative never no na ye di so in fact omo in their opinion ye program no say 20 you be grow 1.5% 2023 but we ended up growing 2.9 far higher than what they projected the year 2024 indicated by the omo kan na ye di kan nya data e bi ni say 2024 afini kwa we no na on cash basis na ye fiscal deficit what 5.2%.
Okay.
And that is one of the best in the you know and by inflation now equal 4%. I mean globally, US of A, IMF almost recorded the highest inflation in 40 years. Highest inflation in 40 years. Germany, the highest inflation in 70 years. All in the year 2022. And never be basic. Now before year 2022, na Ghana government, Bank of Ghana. Nominal reserves of $9.9 billion. The reason why we didn't have IMF.
Okay.
And those days, we can say, and for interview, I'm a finance minister. I'm what can say. We go to IMF principally, significantly for balance of payment. Problems. Say, remember boy, am I addressing the balance payment? Problems. Now, some come on 9.9 billion. Why did you have? And that's misinformation that. And you know, say 2021 no next year 2022 let me go you real 2022 yeah
all right doc mama say you were supposed to speak for maybe 10 minutes but you say mama say 21 minutes so
mama ended this now me programs me part of mama ended this they may end this say the cope of IMF any you real 2022 now $1 and says this 20 pesos mobi bia 80 says this 20 pesos we didn't have a problem with the exchange rate there was no problem but when the Russian-Ukrainian crisis started yeah the whole world sir and we hear you Emma Germany in the process the highest inflation in 70 years UK near that you call no baby I go to near my but on near my boy number one again so nobody $1 and the neck and then okay see a ton $2 it will be here $1 and I'm sorry something bad
okay
I'm not coca kakrabi satam no mebo ba o ma bia ni ho a o wiase a anasa ba
okay doc my message wadaroma my message but don't leave us. You are always with us, so don't leave us out. Let me go to Mr. Franklin Cudjoe. Now, I'm sorry, one or two reactions, but I'll come back to you then. Now, me call Mr. Ibaro Dakwa Hodom, then I'll come back to you. So stay tuned, please. Don't go yet. Be with me. So, Mr. Cudjoe, do you have anything to say? Yeah. So, Mr. Omori said, person reacted to it.
Doc, how are you? I hope you are well. I didn't even know you were on the program. But good to know. Sorry? Oh, that's fine. That's okay. I had only one question for you. Are you suggesting that any government has reduced this country's debt by 20 percentage points ever before? Do you know any government that has done that before in a year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which government did that? When the debt grows, it's not because of this government. That's where I was going.
I'm asking you a question. You haven't spoken. I'm asking you a question. From 60% to 45%. Excuse me. Hold on.
No, we have seen that for. Franklin, we have seen that.
Which government did that?
Go and check. The year
which government did that?
I come for. When he came.
When Ejekun reduce our debt from 20-something% in a single year.
I'm talking about the debt to GDP ratio. Listen, when Ejekun came, our total debt to GDP ratio 102%. Are you listening?
He was forgiving debt. Hold on. Debt for, George, hold on. Don't confuse the problem. Debt forgiveness, even included debt forgiveness, he didn't achieve 20% in a single year.
I'm sorry, debt forgiveness that we through the debt restructuring.
I'm just saying that
that we were owing.
Let's be careful. Hold on. Please.
Let's be careful.
Who is on the front? Mr. Cudjoe,
yes.
Are you asking me a question to answer? And I say,
yes. Because you see,
for me, please.
Hold on. It's part of the conversation about the fastest economic recovery. It's part of the conversation about the fastest economic recovery in a generation. I think he's disagreeing with that. I'm asking you one part of that conversation about the historic recovery is the debt to GDP ratio, which was reduced in a single year by 20%. And I'm asking him, which government does he know in a recent history in a generation that has done that? And he's saying Kufuor. And I'm saying that economic history will tell you that he's lying, because economic history tells you that Kufuor had debt forgiveness, and even if you included that in all of that, he never achieved 20% GDP reduction and debt reduction in a single year. It's not true.
Can you come again? Is it Kufuor did not achieve what?
Well, when I asked him which government in recent past has achieved a 20% debt reduction in a single year,
before you come,
excuse me, why are you talking? You spoke.
Doc, I'll give you, Doc, please. Dr. Domfe.
You should stop lying to the public.
Oh, please, I will give you a time.
You should stop lying to the public.
No, you forget.
No, but
I'm a host program. Oh, my goodness. Doc, please.
Doc.
Mr. Cudjoe, listen. Mr. Cudjoe spoke for 16 minutes. Please, I beg. No, listen. Doc, Doc, please. People are watching us. Please listen to me. Mr. Cudjoe spoke for 16 minutes. You spoke for 21 minutes. So I'm saying that, look, he is on the floor. So, Manimye, I'm coming, please. Manimye, yeah. You take a bite, you can have a reaction. Oh my goodness.
You don't bring your
Jot is down. Dr. Jot is down, please. Manimye. So thank you very much. Mr. Cudjoe, please, can you proceed, please? Yeah, hello?
George is a good friend of mine. Sometimes he goes off a bit, so allow him. Look, listen, question. I only asked him a simple question. It's all over the place. He spoke and said that it's a lie that I'm saying that this is the fastest recovery in a generation. He says it's a lie. And I just asked a simple question. Does he know of any government in recent history that has managed to reduce our debts in a single year by almost 20 percentage points? And he's saying Kufuor did that. This is economic history we are teaching our kids here. It's not true. Kufuor did that. Even if you added the fact that he was forgiving that 80% of our debt was forgiven through HIPIC. If you added that to whatever he is claiming, it's not true. That Kufuor, in addition to 80% debt forgiveness, gave us that record number. It's not true. And nobody forgave our debt 80% this time around. Nobody did. We rescheduled our debt. It doesn't mean we are not paying. You see, so look, let's be fair to economics. And I keep saying that economics is not about
Kufuor's HIPIC, the HIPIC program wasn't the fastest recovery as he claimed, right? That's what we're saying.
It cannot be possible. It cannot be possible because the question we are asking him is to give us, and it's not, and giving a very bad example of Kufuor. Kufuor did very well in other parts of our economy, but not he didn't do that. It's not true. Please, okay. Let's not do this to ourselves, please.
Okay.
Now, you see, and I asked this. You see that simple question I asked. When he says I'm lying, that I can say that this is not the fastest economic recovery. Just one plank of what I said. It's all over the place. If I should add the other three, I'm sure you come and beat people in the studio. Anyway, good evening, George. I'll meet you one of these days. We need to have our Kenke party. Bye-bye.
All right. Say thank you very much for joining us for today. Thank you very much. This is Ghana's post IMF transition, sustaining fiscal discipline, economic stability. My mentor in Super Fangusuna. I will come back to Dr. Job Domfe. Emmanuel Amwadakwa is economist and partner at the CCAD Global, also still on the line. So, say, what else can you tell us? Let me give you 7 minutes on this. What else can you tell us?
We share two sides of the argument, anyhow it's been presented. The only comment I want to make is Ghana has a analysis. Sometimes, in the interpretation of the data, you can interpret it to suit a particular narrative. And so, renowned speakers Kenya about HEPIC, any current the reduction of debt, we can be analyzed in a way to give credit where credit is due. Of course, sometimes it even goes beyond one government. Of course, for time, HEPIC, the debt forgiveness, and debt to the bar form. This particular one also, they had to go for domestic debt and external debt exchange program. Of course, the costs are different, but debt above form. And that is what we are seeing. And I must also say, program here from 2023 to 2026. MPP abanshas enko anya de engeni enya gains dia nkempi ndisi ba enko mo betimi embeto so menya gains ya yenye. And so the point I want to make here is yeah, analysis. There are give credit where credit. It doesn't cost anyone. Say MPP shall say we have seen the IMF program. MPP are back. Astute NDC are bit to also, and the vice versa. And so when we are making such analysis, let's give credit where credit is due. Of course, even when it goes beyond one government, let's be happy to say by 2024. Na abani free sono na yen growth rate about 5.4% on an IMF program.
Yeah.
And na balance up the person they can because of how the argument is going, and they say in doing analysis, you can interpret data to suit a particular narrative. But in this particular case, the point is MPDC ayadi, MPP ayadi. Let's give credit where credit is due. Senabaya, we don't go into some of these commentary here, because these are very experienced people I am on with on this panel. But going forward to your question, I will say.
But before you go to before you answer that question, so does it mean say it is said and conforms to Eka Amayati Bene say what the gains that Akufo-Addo administration the first term in 2017 and 18 is in the result of the IMF that MDC called in the 2015. Can we also say that?
Of course, and of course, initial program it had challenges. Even with this program, you see, and yet targets in the first year of implementation. That is why even if you see, he said the fifth review, there are still structural reforms that we have to embark on, including state-owned enterprises. How we make sure, we reduce the level of inefficiencies and losses that are coming from state-owned enterprises.
Yeah.
And the debt, so the point is. Dia abedum rebi me de ohun nyina ne say go beyond macroeconomic stability. Unfortunately, Ghana macroeconomic stability by 2017-2018 the narrative can say Ghana's economy was the fastest and it grew by 2017-2018 can we go against in the next 4 years will we be saying the same thing and I say yes instability na program and that is what I think, as a nation going forward, we have a golden opportunity. Let's go beyond macroeconomic stability.
Okay.
Let's solve the structural problems of the economy.
Yeah.
Stability. What I was expecting
all right. What so far, baby, wouldn't come back to that IMF bailout, somebody they stable and every 3, 4, 5 years. So thank you very much, sir. Be with me now. Let me go to Dr. Domfe. I still have you. So, Doctor, please now, say, rebuttal. I had to go to your answer, Doctor.
In the first place, who program you've not been fair to me, and I have to say this. maybe not to me alone, myself and my Ima. You've not been fair to us. You gave Franklin all the time to talk so long, and then 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, you know, I'm
sorry, sir. I'm sorry. Doc, Doc, I have been with you for so many years. Please, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Let me quickly come and tell you that now some of our kinds of debt reduction, you know, the lowest ever in recent years. No, what? We mean to 7. Now, I'm can't tell you on TS says Ghana, you total desktop. We share last year budget, appendix 10A, table appendix 10A, will be out of an order. We share your debt now. Who said Ghana's debt in nominal terms in 2021, they is $60 billion. 2021. Yes, debt restructuring. I mean, Eurobond near the 13.1 billion. Almost 4.7 billion. They subjected the whole 13.1 billion to 30% haircut. Sorry, 37% haircut. And so they wrote off that huge debt. And the man yakano SOT na my mention said commercial debt bilateral. Part of the debt restructuring. So that restructuring it covered domestic debt. I mean, and DDEP na yakan was makaka. It was part of it. Bilateral was part of it. Bilateral, but see, I boy from China, money, and it's near the huge, especially at China. So what I say, we are commercial now, and Sana, when Eurobonds, Ejira, and Brand, Nina, in your debt. In fact, last year, I Macron, but the 87 million euros and a chain. It's that restructuring. Apart from say that now amateur almost suspended payment now. Most of 2027 going the house here, baby. The poor Ghana Pami do the almost to check and so I let that relief say no one say but
dog they're Cudjoe also person chair say wo share baby a President Rollins e dey free na over President Kufuor when President Kufuor took over no the how faster ayetimi enya economic recovery ama Ghana for who say afekra dey always say to work na banks banks the loans bro with the zero account na banks chase ni ade microfinances everywhere. The economy was booming at that time no. Now all they compare from President Kufuor's transition on a Atame's transition when Dr. Kwabena the 4-year call the single digit inflation and all that, but as compared to Nana Akufo-Addo and President Mahama's second term, also said the fastest economic recovery, you know, and Obumioni na obi ayade but the fastest part anyway say say no person watch me
me so me person me ka bi kire viewers now person me come do there be but we do this point and our captain.
Okay. We have 2 minutes.
Me can now all can or you should get to GDP ratio like aside. Now I'm saying that to GDP ratio with the 2006 constant prices no yet analysis President Kufuor take over no now 182%. By the year 2006, now your debt to GDP ratio about 26. From 182 to down to 26, 4 years. I mean, how significant it was. But I'm even saying 5 and something years, whatever that it was. How significant? 182 to 26. Let's say Obia Banaye 64. Sorry, I think it was around 61.8. And about 44. Who say only the fastest? That is not true. Because from 61.8 to 44, when they compare from 2000 to 2006, 182 down to 26. The jump was so huge.
In how many years? In how many years? From 2006, it took 6 years to do it, right?
No, but not the same proportion. Because you are talking about 61 to 44. And we are talking about 182 to 26. 182%.
It took him 6 years to achieve that.
But 6 years, no. 6 years, no. Divide the 180 by 6.
Okay.
Is it not 30? Just every year on average, or drop it that to GDP ratio, but 30 percentage points. It is forbidden 1 year. I drop it from 61 to 44. And they don't sit here and say such empty things. But now we are misleading the public. Yes, I'm a 40. It is a distant throw where I'm students in the back class. It's not true. And I feel so that's last year, you go with the March. Remember last year March, your debt relief in 2.8 about reverse. The year exactly on 29th January 2025. Or sign on it offended. That's why I'm you. Mamika wait. That only to us in your watch. Your time now so. Mr. Mamika wait. Yes, your time. Mr. Omar required to me. Me say about reverse. 29th January, and I hear to force and bilateral creditors that the chance. I'm what you said, Ghana cat, you $2.8 billion. Now, this is almost baby at the time, 7 January. Don't buy a number as arrangement. Arrangements are
everything out here, Mr. Dakwaka say, a baby, will be better to us one who benefiting. No, that yes.
And you yes, I negotiate is my kind of tea. And you don't sit here more.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. John Domfe, Dr. John Domfe, our Institute of Statistics.